Hi there, everyone. Josh Rugger here in studio early this morning with a live weather update. We got some strong thunderstorms that are starting to push through portions of northwest Arkansas early this morning. So I wanted to give you an update on the strength of those storms and also the track of them as well, because some of these storms could be impacting your morning commute across the area. So we're just going to let you know about the latest details. We'll get right to it. Let's take a look at how heating, cooling, mega Doppler to start things up. So here it is right here. You'll notice those showers of storms starting to knock on the doorstep of western Benton County. In fact, already arriving in the Siloam Springs area early this morning. Now, thankfully, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our area, so that's certainly a good sign. And these storms have been on a weakening trend quite a bit, but still some lightning starting to show up right now, especially in northwestern Benton County. We're going to look at some of those WeatherBug Network cameras in just a few moments. But again, these thunderstorms moving off to the east-northeast right now. Again, no severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Some small hail maybe starting to show up in eastern Delaware County here, just off to the west of Gravette, Decatur, Gentry, and Siloam Springs. So if you live in these areas right here, especially along that Highway 59 corridor, get ready because it might get a little bit loud, might get a little bit windy, but at this time, nothing severe here in northwest Arkansas. And you'll notice here some wind starting to show up just off to the west of Siloam Springs. This right here is not showing a whole lot of rotation whatsoever, so that's certainly a good sign. But still some strong thunderstorms moving through right now, so we'll watch those very closely, and maybe some additional thunderstorm development too going on behind this little cluster storm. So we'll see if this can maintain its strength. We've been noticing this throughout the nighttime hours, these little clusters of thunderstorms kind of surging off to the east-northeast along this boundary right here. And this could lead to some training and heavy rainfall if they can maintain their strength. Now, obviously, the models are struggling a little bit with the evolution of this, so we're going to have to watch that very closely. But still something very interesting that's going on right now this morning, something that could impact your morning commute. We're going to be watching it very closely. I highly encourage you to join us on KNWA today starting at 5 o'clock a.m. We're going to have the latest details on traffic because this might cause some problems with the roadways, folks. It always does every single morning, especially along Interstate 49. But I'll show you why these storms are taking a weakening trend. We're going to watch this little line as it's moving through northwest Arkansas here and kind of watch the evolution of it. Notice how those winds were quite a bit stronger when it was moving through Pegs. In fact, maybe a little area of rotation that was showing up there southeast of Pegs. That's certainly very interesting right there. That's something we'll have to watch very closely. But I'm going to set the storm motion for morning here so we can kind of take a closer look at that. Looks like there might have been a bit of a radar error there. See these colors right here. Those don't look too normal, but watch as that storm surges off to the north and east. Notice how those colors get a little bit less bright. There's no areas of rotation that are showing up, a little bit more disorganized. And now as it's pushing through northwest Arkansas, we're probably talking about 35 to 45 mile per hour winds at most. So nothing crazy, but still something to keep an eye on as we go throughout the morning commute. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those WeatherBug Network cameras. I want to take a look at that Decatur camera so we can see what's going on there. Hopefully this camera is already pointing to the west. And there it is right there. You can see some lightning strikes showing up over that Decatur City Hall WeatherBug Network camera. I'm going to go here to our Weather 3 source. Remember, I'm by myself here, so I'm going to kind of be moving around just a little bit. So if it sounds like I'm a little bit distant, first of all, that's because I am. And second of all, it's because I'm just moving some things around right now, trying to get a good view of these storms. Looks like that Decatur camera is a little bit laggy right now, so might switch over to a different one in just a few moments. But maybe that Bella Vista camera would be a good one over Cooper Elementary. So all the cameras are pointing in the direction I want them to. We're going to point that Bentonville Square camera off to the west. That one's a little bit less laggy. But this Decatur camera looks like it's just kind of being a little bit too laggy for my liking. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Bentonville Square camera. Let's take a look at what's going on there. That one looks like it's up and running pretty fine. Again, this camera's pointing off to the west right now, so we're going to see if we see any flashes of lightning there. But these storms not as electrified as what they were earlier, and that's a good sign. That means they might be on a bit of a weakening trend right now. Certainly caused quite a bit of wind in portions of eastern Oklahoma near the Pegs area. Again, that was a pretty interesting radar image right there. I'd be interested to see if that ended up being any circulation. But for northwest Arkansas, not dealing with any of that right now. But still something we're going to be keeping an eye on as we go throughout that morning commute. I see Brenda commenting here. Bella Vista, I got a huge oak tree on my house from a week ago, major damage. Brenda, do you live near that Houston Road area? Because I actually live literally right by there, and I slept through that whole storm because I came back home. Well, no, that wasn't the storm. It was a different storm. But I was here in studio, was watching those storms as they were moving off to the north and east. And they actually cleared off the damage pretty quick because when I was moving through, I was like, I don't see any damage right now. But they actually cleared it off pretty quickly, at least the area that I went to. Okay, so you live near Kingston Drive. So that is pretty close. But again, I go down that main road, so I don't think I was near that location. Look at this lightning, though, that's going on right now over our Bentonville Square camera. Definitely some nice cloud-to-ground lightning strikes right now. Jody, no need to take cover. The wind is definitely gusty right now, about 35 to 45 miles per hour, but no tornadoes, nothing like that. We're going to go back to a radar image here. I do want to keep it on this camera, though, for a little bit longer. But, Jody, I can assure you we're not under any severe thunderstorm warnings. We're not under any tornado warnings, and there's nothing on radar that indicates that we will be over the next 5 minutes. But definitely some nice lightning that's going on right now. I think Mega Doppler is kind of underdoing the amount of lightning that's going on with this storm, truth be told. So Flop reporting that power went out in Gentry. Okay, that's a good report right there, Flop. Thank you for that. We're going to look at that power outage situation in just a moment. Let's go back to Mega Doppler here because I saw we got a couple comments about what's going on. So we're going to take a look at Mega Doppler, and we're going to see how this storm is evolving right now. So, yeah, there's some strong thunderstorms moving through the area right now. That is for sure. Maybe some small hail as well just off to the northwest of Gentry, northwest of Decatur, even northwest of Gravette near Sulphur Springs. But this storm is not severe warned. Okay, Jody's saying that she lives along Highway 43. So let's look at storm relative velocity. So definitely some strong winds that's moving through Gentry right now, Jody. No areas of rotation, so that's good. Some stronger winds going on southeast of Maysville right now. Around the Gentry area, probably about 40 to 45 mile per hour winds. But a lot of lightning that's going on. That is for sure. The lightning has definitely intensified just a little bit. So maybe the storm is getting a little bit stronger. We'll have to watch that very closely. Let's go back to that Bentonville Square camera and take a look at what's going on. I wish that Decatur camera wasn't so laggy right now. Otherwise, I would show that. But it's kind of lagging on my end. So we'll go back to it if it stops lagging. But we're definitely getting the lightning show over the Bentonville Square camera right now. So we're going to keep it on this for the next few moments. And while I do that, I'm gonna get a storm track going on this thunderstorm as it progresses out to the north and east, so I can let everybody know kind of the direction that it's going and when it's going to be arriving over your area. But this is the most pressing thunderstorm right now. This is the only thunderstorm that's moving through our weather coverage area. If you're living in the River Valley, not dealing with any thunderstorms quite yet, but we'll keep an eye on things for the River Valley as well. But right now, Northwest Arkansas getting the bulk of the impacts at this time. And that's why we're focusing on this thunderstorm as it progresses off to the north and east of the area. There is a kind of an outflow boundary that's starting to show up on the storm, too. I can actually show that here on live Doppler radar in just a few moments, but give me a little bit of time to make this storm track, and then I'll show you what I'm looking at. But we're going to keep it right here on live Doppler radar so we can take a look at what's going on here. So there's that outflow boundary right there that's starting to show up just off to the west of Fayetteville and Springdale. This could actually cause some gusty winds in Washington County. So if you live at Fayetteville, West Fork, Winslow, it might get windy within the next 20 to 30 minutes. So just be aware of that. This outflow boundary can cause some gusty winds. It can also spark additional shower and storm development if it stays close to this line. So we'll watch that very closely. But some thunderstorms also showing up west of Tahlequah right now, so we'll need to keep an eye on that as those move off to the east-northeast. But you'll notice these storms moving off pretty quickly, not severe warned anymore, so on a bit of a weakening trend, but still enough to keep an eye on right now. So we're going to adjust this storm track here. These storms generally moving off to the east-northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So we're going to move it along this way here over the next hour or so. So Bella Vista, obviously going to have to keep an eye on these storms within the next 10 minutes or so. Bentonville, 448. That's why we've been keeping an eye on that Bentonville Square WeatherBug Network camera. Rogers, 457, a little bit farther east there. Looks like maybe the bulk of the shower and storm activity will be north of Rogers, but we'll keep a close eye on it too there. Lowell at 5:01 p.m., Beaver at 5:24 p.m., 5:31 a.m. in Eureka Springs, and 5:39 a.m. in Shellenham. I don't know why I was saying p.m. there, but it's a.m. And now starting to get more reports of lost power in Gentry. So Flop was the first one to report lost power. Jessica now reporting lost power in Gentry. So let's take a look at that. I don't know if this is going to have the power outages already up for Northwest Arkansas, but we're going to give it a shot anyway and take a look at it. So it doesn't, but I'm sure PowerOutage.us is going to have this within the next few moments. Again, it was last updated at 4:27. So right now, PowerOutage.us reporting 0 power outages in Benton County, but we know that's not true because we're getting multiple reports here of power out in Gentry. And we're getting reports of the wind that's being insanely, the wind being insane right now in Gentry. So this will be updated within the next few moments or so. And once it does, I'm going to take a look at PowerOutage.us once again. But I'm going to go ahead and save that storm track here. We'll go back to it in just a minute. We're going to go back to Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. Notice how this line is now elongated along the Highway 59 corridor from Gravette to Decatur and Gentry. So definitely starting to get some strong winds in all these areas right now. We're getting those reports from the Gentry area. So thank you guys so much for reporting that in. Let me know what's going on there. To kind of put your mind at ease, this is not a storm that's causing tornadic potential right now. So that's certainly a good sign. But it is producing strong to gusty winds. So we'll have to watch this very closely as it pushes off to the east-northeast. Probably some strong winds that's going to be moving through the Gravette area very soon. And strong winds that will be possible in portions of northwest Arkansas. There's an outflow boundary that's developing right now, so we'll have to watch that very closely. So thank you guys so much for the reports. We're going to go back to the Bentonville Square camera. We're going to take a look at the lightning show that's going on. I would go to the Decatur camera, but Decatur's kind of laggy right now. Let's take a quick jab at the Decatur camera. So there it is. You can see the winds that are blowing right now over the Decatur camera, as well as that heavy rainfall. See that tree rustling in the wind right there. So definitely coming down in buckets. You can see the lightning that's going on there as well. And, yeah, this storm's pretty strong right now over Decatur. That's some strong winds that are going on there. So a lot of folks telling me they're getting strong winds in Gentry. Sarah, I know it's happening in Gravette as well. Thank you so much for that report. We can see that. Are you getting any hail in Gravette by chance at your house? There is maybe some small hail that's showing up there. Man, look at that lightning strike that's going on there, though, over the Decatur camera. So the lightning's going pretty crazy right now. Notice how those rain curtains, too, are blowing in the wind. So these winds right now, probably about, whoa, look at that. That's a big old downburst that's going on right now in Decatur. So it looks like we've got a downburst maybe going on in Decatur right now. This is not uncommon with storms that are weakening. It's kind of like a last breath of a thunderstorm where the winds get very intense. That tree was really blowing right there. Yeah, the wind is very wild in Decatur. That is for sure. We're taking a look at that camera right now, and that was a pretty strong gust. So hopefully power didn't get knocked out there for some folks. It didn't look like it got knocked out over our camera, so that's good. But, man, that was a pretty strong little downburst that just went down into Decatur. And the reason why I could tell it's a downburst because you saw the sheets of rain that were going on, how those rain curtains were moving from side to side. That's typically a sign that those storms are intensifying. Look at that tree go. Maybe another big gust of wind that's going on there in Decatur. So the storm definitely a lot more intense than what's showing up on radar. That is for sure. Danny's saying that they had intense winds and rain in Gentry. Now it is down to a sprinkle. Thank you so much for the report there. Uh-oh. Woo. That was a big lightning strike right there in Decatur. Wow. Look at that tree go. Oh, my goodness. That's really strong winds, folks. Man, I hope there's no damage reports that are going to come out of Decatur because those winds are very gusty for sure. I mean, I'm getting reports of power outages right now up and down that State Highway 59 corridor. So we'll have to keep an eye on this Decatur camera. We're going to keep it on this camera because, you know, it's one thing to look at Mega Doppler. It's another thing to actually see what's going on outside. And you can tell right now Decatur is definitely getting the brunt of this thunderstorm. That is for sure. Very strong winds, heavy rain, and a lot of lightning in Noel, Missouri. So that is right, Heather. I can definitely see that on Mega Doppler right now. We're seeing those strong thunderstorms moving through. Jody, it woke me up and scared me. That's why I asked. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty intense thunderstorm moving through right now, Jody, which is why we're on the Facebook Live. We wanted to make sure people were informed of what's going on. Again, no severe thunderstorm warning on this storm. And on Mega Doppler, it certainly doesn't look like a severe thunderstorm, but man, that is some strong winds that are going on near Decatur. I'm telling you, those downbursts can cause some problems, folks. They can cause some problems. We see them typically during the summertime with those elevated thunderstorms. And right now, man, that certainly was a downburst that just went down in Decatur. That there's no doubt about it in my mind. You saw the horizontal kind of rain curtains there that were going on, and that was very intense. So we'll have to watch that very close. We're going to keep an eye on that Decatur camera. Let's go back to Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler real quick, just to give you an update on what's going on, and then we'll go back to our cameras. But there's the thunderstorm now. Maybe strengthened just a little bit. You can see some small hail maybe showing up north of Decatur, southeast of the area as well. Some small hail in the Knoll area as well. So that was that report that we just got from that viewer there. Who reported that there? Heather reported that in Knoll. So that's just off to the southeast of Knoll. Maybe some small hail coming into your area right now in the Spring Valley area. But this is the storm that's going on. It's moving off to the northeast. So Bentonville going to be under the gun pretty soon. Electricity on and off in Springtown. So that's a good report right there. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for reporting that. So, yeah, this storm right now that's going on is definitely very intense. And that's moving along the State Highway 59 corridor. Gentry starting to wind down there. So it looks like the strongest winds are just off to the east of the area. But Gravette, Sulphur Springs, Decatur definitely getting the brunt of this thunderstorm. Bentonville about to get the thunderstorm as well. Bella Vista, you're about to get some strong winds and some heavy rainfall. And Pea Ridge within the next 15 minutes or so. I know we've got a lot of viewers that live in Pea Ridge. You're also going to get some strong thunderstorms there. So now the power is off in Springdown, according to Kathleen, and electricity off in Gentry as well. So more power outage reports coming in from Benton County. Man, I wish poweroutage.us was updating. But right now it's not updating very well, so we can't get a good idea of how many power outages are going on. But I'll tell you what, I think these power outages are caused by wind, folks, because this wind has been definitely very intense over some of these areas. So we're going back to the Decatur camera here because that was the one that showed most of the strong winds. I wish we had our Gravette camera up right now, but unfortunately, I think it's still down. Yeah, it's still down right now, so we can't take a look at what's going on in Gravette. But we can potentially take a look at our Bella Vista camera in just a few moments because Bella Vista's got a lot of trees, and we're going to see those trees whipping around in the wind in just a few moments. Man, there's a lot of power outage reports right now coming in from Gentry. I've seen maybe 8 or 9 people reporting power out in Gentry. Another one. So we definitely had some strong winds that went through Gentry. I think that was caused by wind because the lightning is intense, but most of the lightning strikes are just off to the north of Gentry. Man, that storm definitely ramped up very quickly over Gentry. We're going to have to keep an eye on this storm, folks. It's still very intense right now. I know there's not a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but it's intense. That's for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and actually switch radars here. I'm gonna take a look at our Fort Smith radar. Sarah, just stay inside. I know it's very scary. That's for sure. These storms are definitely very intense. Just stay inside, and you'll be good. You don't have to get video or anything. But I definitely appreciate your report, and that's why we're on right now, to just kind of keep you informed and keep you safe. So I just switched over to the Fort Smith radar. I still don't see any signs that this storm is rotating or anything. So it doesn't look like there's tornadic potential right now, but there's definitely strong winds that are moving through the area. There's no doubt about it. No severe thunderstorm warning, but I'm telling you, those winds look like they were very strong over Decatur. That's for sure. Winds were so strong here in Salem, and we just got the tail end of it. I can't imagine how bad it is being in the middle of it. And yeah, Lindsay, that outflow boundary is going to be moving through Washington County as well. So even though there won't be any heavy rainfall in Fayetteville, I think there could be some strong winds that move through Fayetteville very soon. So we'll have to keep an eye on that because these power outages, I think, are being caused by strong winds. I have to leave for work from Bella Vista to Bentonville and then have to go to Springdale. When should it be here? So, Olivia, are you leaving right now? If you're leaving right now, you're probably going to run into the brunt of it. If you're leaving a little bit later, I think this storm will be in and out within 20 minutes. It's a quick-moving storm, so it's not going to be hanging around Bella Vista very long, at least in terms of strong winds. So, Misty, I just woke up and grabbed my phone thinking maybe we're in a tornado in Gentry. Well, Misty, oh man, if you have any video, folks, send me in some video. I'll tell you, I don't see anything on radar that indicated it might have been a tornado, but man, that was some strong winds that moved through Gentry. Here's what I'm looking at right now on Mega Doppler. We're going to kind of go back in time just a little bit here, and then we're going to go back to our cameras. I switched over to the Fort Smith radar, and what you'll notice is that this line, these dark red colors right here, that's some strong winds that are pushing through western Benton County. And notice how those stronger winds are moving right over the Gentry area just a few moments ago. And there definitely was kind of a bowing out of this little cluster of storms right here over Gentry. So, dang, it looks like Gentry just got the full brunt of some very intense winds. And I think those might have been downburst winds too, because this storm is weakening. And basically what a downburst is, it's basically like the storm is just it's taking a big breath out. It's exhaling all of its wind. It's exhaling all of its rain at the same time. And that could cause some damage. And it can also cause some issues as well in terms of power outages and damage. So I think Gentry might have gotten a downburst potentially there. It looks like it on radar. I don't know if it was necessarily a tornado, but like you said, Sandra, strong winds can be just as destructive as tornadoes. And I think that's what we just saw in the Gentry area. So thank you guys so much for the reports. Emily, absolutely. That's why we're on. I saw these storms moving through. I know they didn't have severe thunderstorm warnings on it. They still don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on it. But they're still very intense right now. That's for sure. And also producing some very heavy rainfall. We got additional thunderstorms that are going on just off to the south and west. Maybe they don't maintain their strength. But heavy rainfall can also cause some issues on the roadways, and I am a bit concerned about that along Interstate 49. I've seen so many accidents over the last several days. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But it's 4:47 a.m. What we're going to do is once we get to 5, we're going to stay on because these thunderstorms are pretty intense. They're intense enough that I want to stay on. And we're getting so many reports of power outages that I want to make sure that everybody is informed. So when we get to KNWA today at 5 o'clock, we're going to keep it on. We're going to continue to talk about these showers and storms as long as they're in our weather coverage area. But I'm getting some folks asking about specific locations. That's why we're on the Bentonville camera right now, because I think Bentonville is about to get quite a bit of shower and storm activity. In fact, Bentonville might get the most intense part of this line. So we're taking a look at that right now over their Bentonville Square camera, looking for occasional flashes of lightning as well to see if there's a base to this thunderstorm, because I want to, make sure there's no low areas that could be rotation. So we're keeping a close eye on that. Erica with the report. I was awoken by debris hitting my bedroom door. Someone's siding. No one immediately near me has siding. South of Gentry. Ooh. Erica, thank you so much for the report. If you got pictures of that, please send that in. So, again, straight line winds can cause just as many issues as tornadoes. Not saying there, was or wasn't, potential area there that showed up near Gentry, but there is one area that is concerning me just a little bit here. I'm going to go back to Mega Doppler. This is something we got to watch right here, just off to the south of Bella Vista. That might be an area of rotation that's showing up north of Centerton. So we're keeping an eye on the Bentonville Square camera right now. And I want to go back to the Bentonville Square camera here to kind of take a look at what's going on. So we're going to go back to that Bentonville Square camera. And the wind is definitely about to get very strong at Highville, Jessica. Get ready, because that storm is moving in right now over your area. Thankfully, the brunt of the storm is just off to the north of you, but Yeah, there's definitely some wind, even on the southern side of the storm. And if you live in Fayetteville, Fayetteville right now is not going to get a whole lot of heavy rainfall, at least in the short term. But some strong winds certainly possible in Fayetteville from this outflow boundary that's developing. The storm, see, the outflow boundary is still very close to the storm. And yes, if you have an outflow boundary, it's typically a sign of storms on a weakening trend. But if the outflow boundary stays close to the initial line of showers and storms, it can still cause some very strong winds. So we have to keep a close eye on this. But a lot of lightning going on here in the Bentonville Square camera. So now we're getting close enough. The storm's getting close enough where we can see the base of it. I didn't see any low-lying areas of rotation there over that Bentonville Square camera. We're going to keep an eye on it. And we'll just kind of look for occasional flashes of lightning. Man, the lightning's kind of died down just a little bit over Bentonville Square. There's a good lightning strike right there. Let's go to the Bella Vista camera too. Bella Vista has quite a few trees, so we could kind of keep an eye on things there. There's a nice lightning strike right there. So still no clear base there on that storm over Bella Vista. But we also have that big hill that's in the way right there. So we'll keep an eye on this for about 10 more seconds. I want to see one more lightning strike and see what we can see there over Bella Vista. It does look like the most intense part of the storm is moving towards Bentonville right now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that there. So there's the Bella Vista camera. We're now going to move to the Fulbright Junior High School camera. You can see the rain that's starting to move in right now, just off to the west of Bentonville. In fact, hitting our Fulbright Junior High School camera. Okay, I did see a little bit of the cloud base there. So it's moving right over our Fulbright Junior High School camera. So let's see if we can see some more lightning strikes here. We're going to keep it on this camera. I can definitely see maybe a shelf cloud feature moving through the Fulbright camera. It's tough to tell because we're not getting a whole lot of lightning strikes right now, but we'll give it a few more moments here to take a look at it. Looks like it got that raggedy kind of base going on there with that storm. Man, the lightning's just not really showing up right now. It was very intense with the lightning strikes just a few moments ago. I think that base is about to move over the camera, though. Okay, let's go to the Bentonville Square camera again, because now we're starting to get a view of it from this camera. We're facing off to the west right now. A lot of reports coming in from Centerton about heavy rainfall. I can certainly see that, and probably some very strong winds as well. Yeah, right on cue. Katie says strong winds in Centerton. Yep, the winds are cranking up with that storm. That is for sure. We're going to have to keep a close eye on this, folks. There might be a bit of a bowing out of the storm, and might be a broad area of rotation showing up just off to the northwest of Bentonville. We're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to keep an eye on this right now. That's why we're on. There's no severe thunderstorm warning right now. In fact, there's nothing for Benton County. There's no severe thunderstorm watch either. But man, this storm is definitely very intense. It's a lot more intense than maybe what it looks like on radar. There is a little area that I'm watching very closely right now, though, northwest of Bentonville. I'm going to show you Megadoppler just real quick. This area right here needs to be watched very closely, northwest of Bentonville. This is moving towards the I-49 corridor. This is moving towards the Miller area, just off to the south of Bella Vista. That is some, at the least, very strong winds that's moving through Bentonville. Getting very loud and windy in Bentonville. Okay, so thank you so much for the report. Renee and Gentry have leaves and small limbs in my backyard. We don't have trees. Okay, thank you for the report there. We're going to be taking a look at this, folks. We're going to be keeping an eye on it. We are starting to get the reports of power outages. Of course, in Gentry, I've been seeing that all morning long. Here's the latest. This is from poweroutage.us. Notice how Carroll Electric Cooperative is reporting 68 without power, and I'm sure that number is going to be going up as we go throughout the rest of the morning. But, yeah, this is at poweroutage.us. This was last updated at 4:47 a.m. I think that is a lot more than what is showing up on poweroutage.us. Okay, I just saw a base of this thunderstorm over the Bentonville Square camera. We're gonna keep it on this camera. I'm gonna go ahead and get mic'd up because I think we've got maybe an area of rotation showing up here. So Jacob, just in time. I think we need to get ready.
All right.
because I think I see a base. I think I see some rotation showing up in Bentonville. At the very least, very intense winds. We got some reports of damage this morning in the Gentry area. So, okay, thank you. So we're at 4:54 a.m. Here's the deal. We are about to shift over to live coverage on KNWA today. We're going to keep the live stream on. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there's definitely a base of that storm right there. So we're going to keep it on this Bentonville Square camera because this is showing some strong winds right now that's starting to move into Bentonville. Already some very strong winds showing up in Centerton. Oh, man. We got to keep an eye on this right here, folks. And that's why we're on right now. There's no severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warning on this storm, but there's definitely a very well-defined base of this thunderstorm right now. And yeah, we're about to shift to live coverage here in just a few moments. So I'm by myself right now, so we're gonna make this as best as we can. But I think we've got a big area of rotation that's showing up right now, Savannah. So we need to get ready for potentially. I know there's no severe thunderstorm warning, but I'm looking at this Bentonville Square camera. We've got very intense lightning, and we've got very strong winds. There's already been reports of damage in Gentry, so we need to be prepared to potentially go wall to wall here. But we're keeping an eye on the storm right now near our Bentonville Square camera. We're going to keep it on the camera. I'm also keeping an eye on radar right now. Radar was showing maybe a little bit of rotation along the I-49 corridor. So we're gonna take a quick look at Mega Doppler, and then I'm going to switch it right back here to the Bentonville Square camera. But this is a look at High Heat and Cooling Mega Doppler. Again, it was a little bit stronger just a few moments ago, but that storm's kind of bowing out just a little bit there and causing some very intense winds just off to the south and west of Bentonville. And in fact, those winds are really starting to crank up near Bentonville right now. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm just getting ready right now. We're 4 minutes away from starting on KNWA today. If you want to join us on there, we're going to be on channel 51. And we're going to also keep this live stream up as well. But getting some reports of very intense winds in Bella Vista right now. So thank you, Olivia, for the report. Ava. Oh, man. Ava, where are you currently located right now? What are you? Are you in a mobile home right now? Very strong winds on the western edge of Bentonville. Ava, let me know because I want to make sure you're safe. Will sirens go off in Bentonville? Well, Brianna, right now there's no severe thunderstorm warning on this storm, which kind of surprises me just a little bit. But there's definitely some very strong winds that are going on right now. There's no doubt about it. And we've gotten reports of damage in Gentry, so we're going to have to keep an eye on this. If anything else, this storm is taking its last breath and maybe just having that downburst potential. I think there might have been a downburst over at Decatur camera. It certainly looked like one with how the winds were cranking up. I'm going to shift this camera over just a little bit. I want to take a look at this base because the base is moving right over this camera right now. I'm going to shift this the other direction here towards the east over the Bentonville Square camera. It's just going to be too hard to see from that camera now. There's so much rain and wind that's going on. Let's look at that Bentonville Fulbright Junior High School camera. Wow, look at the horizontal rain curtains that are going on there. Look at this. I'm going to shift this camera just a little bit farther to the south and west here. Oh, yeah, it's really blowing around in the wind. Look at the wind going on there. See the trees? So very intense winds going on over that Fulbright Junior High School camera.
Yeah.
Wow. So the camera's shaking right now. I would say those winds, very strong over Fulbright, that's for sure. Man, this storm is cranking up right now. It doesn't look too impressive on radar, but man. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, Azul. Very bad clouds are lowering. Where are you at right now? Let me know where you're at because we can get a camera that's close to your location and we can take a look at what's going on. But here's the deal, folks. We are about to start our coverage on KNWA today, so we're going to shift to that, and we're gonna continue our coverage there. But I'll be in and out on this Facebook Live. You're going to see our coverage showing up on KNWA today within the next minute. So just stay tuned. I'll be right back on KNWA Today. Thank you guys so much for the reports, and we'll continue our coverage right now on KNWA. So we're going to keep it on this camera, and we're going to switch it to our source.
All right, Josh, we need to line up the shot.
Okay.
We'll get you on the wall as soon as possible.
Okay. I'm still streaming right now, so just a heads up there.
From your home for the Paris Olympics. Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA Today.
Good morning. Welcome to KNWA Today. I'm Jacqueline House.
And I'm Perry Elliott-Drani, and you can see we're in the Weather Center. Josh, just moments ago, we're starting to see these winds really pick up. Lightning even behind us on these monitors. What are you seeing?
Yeah, well, we've already gotten some reports of damage this morning, folks. And a lot of power outages as well near the Gentry area. We've been on this weather live stream for the last several minutes, and we've been watching these storms as they've been evolving. We're taking a look at our Pea Ridge Junior High School WeatherBug Network camera right now, and we've been seeing some very intense lightning for sure with these showers and thunderstorms. But I'm going to go ahead and shift it to Heil Heat and Cooling Mega Doppler to start things off. Now, we're going to kind of go back and forth here. I'm not going to be on the wall to start because I want to take a look and kind of take a radar tour here. But we're taking a look at this thunderstorm that's going on in Benton County right now. There's no severe thunderstorm warning on this storm at this time, but very intense winds have already been observed near Gentry, Decatur, and Gravette. We're getting reports of power outages in the Gentry area. A lot of viewers on our weather live stream on Facebook and on Twitter have been reporting some damage in these locations along State Highway 59. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. But one thing we're also watching for along this line is some weak areas of rotation. They have been showing up over the last several scans. Right now, nothing too pressing showing up in terms of tornado potential, but definitely some intense winds that are going on in northern Benton County right now, especially just out to the southeast of Bella Vista, around the Bentonville area. We jog a little bit farther south. I know Fayetteville, you're waking up at Fayetteville this morning, you probably just looked at that radar image saying, okay, we're not going to see any showers and thunderstorms, but definitely some strong winds also possible in Washington County this morning. This is what we call an outflow boundary right here, and this is where we could see wind gusts anywhere between 30 to even 55 miles per hour away from the main thunderstorm. So Washington County, make sure you're staying weather aware this morning. Of course, the most pressing thunderstorm, again, is located in Benton County as well as southwestern Berry and McDonald County right now. Definitely some intense lightning going on there with that thunderstorm near Pineville, as well as in the Bella Vista and Bentonville areas. Let's go back to one of our WeatherBug Network cameras here as well. We're going to take a look at that Fulbright Junior High School WeatherBug Network camera. We're just going to go through a bit of a camera tour here to take you through what we're seeing right now. Again, we saw some very intense lightning, some very intense wind that was going on there near that Fulbright Junior High School camera. Let's go to that Bentonville Square camera. This is facing off to the east. Definitely some very heavy rainfall going on this morning. So this is something we're also going to have to keep an eye on because this could cause some impacts on the interstates and highways this morning. See that lightning that's going on there near the Bentonville Square. Let's go to one more camera here. I want to go to that Pea Ridge Junior High School WeatherBug Network camera as well and see if we can see any lightning. It looks like the lights are out right now, so we can't see those rain curtains coming down. But there's that base right there. This is what I was looking at. I'm going to go to the wall here so we can take a look at that base of the thunderstorm real quick. I know we need a toss here, but there was the base of the thunderstorm that was showing up right there. We're going to take a look at that. We'll see if we can get one more lightning strike. There it is right there. It looks like a bit of a shelf cloud feature that's going on there in that Pea Ridge Junior High School WeatherBug Network camera. Again, this is not uncommon with thunderstorms that are on the weakening trend. We see very intense winds as that storm kind of takes its last breath. So hopefully the storm is taking its last breath, but let's keep it on this camera for just a few more seconds. I want to take one last look at that base of the thunderstorm there. So you can get one more lightning strike. You can certainly see that rain that's going on there near that Pea Ridge Junior High School camera, but it does look like that lightning may be dying down just a little bit. That's certainly a good sign. We'll continue to keep tabs on that as we go throughout the rest of the show this morning. But right now, again, very intense thunderstorms moving through Benton County. We're going to have the latest traffic information coming up in just a few moments. But Perry and Jackie, I'm going to send things back over to you.
Thank you, Josh. And of course, if you guys are seeing any damage on the ground, please let us know. Send us in news@knwa.com. We'd be happy to receive your updates there on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. Thanks for those updates. We know that you'll keep us posted throughout the morning.
Yeah.
Getting to our local stories, a coach is accused of threatening a player.
Player's mother after an incident at a practice.
Okay, thank you.
Man, as you see on your screen now here, James Brooks Jr. He was arrested and charged with first-degree terroristic threatening after telling the mother of a player, Adelaide Pelt, that he would elbow her in the face and split it open. The incident began after Brooks allegedly yelled and confused Pelt's daughter, who was autistic. Brooks was released on a $7,500 bond. As a court date set for June 17th.
In Springdale, two people pleaded not guilty for allegedly robbing a man at gunpoint and stealing his vehicle. Dalia Estrada and Ale Calendares is facing charges related to accomplice burglary, robbery, and kidnapping. The victim's car was stolen in February when Estrada told the victim to meet her at a parking lot, telling the victim to park next to a specific car. Then 3 masked armed men assaulted the victim before driving back to his apartment and robbing him of more than $5,000 in cash and various electronics. The men claimed Estrada owed the money for a drug deal. Estrada and Calendares have a court date set for July 9th and are being held at the Washington County Jail. Estrada on a $150,000 bond, with Calendares is on a $300,000 bond.
An Arkansas educator accused of murdering his wife in 2022 is no longer facing criminal charges. Former Omaha School District Principal Rocky Dodson was charged with second-degree murder after he found his wife dead in their home. The 14th District Prosecuting Attorney announced the decision to drop the charges after the medical examiner conducted their investigation and an interview with Dodson. While the charges against Dodson are scheduled to be dropped, the case is still being treated as an open investigation. Dodson's wife's cause of death is listed as undetermined.
Nearly $80 million in funding assistance for water and wastewater projects around the state have been approved by the Arkansas National Resources Commission.
And of the $79 million approved, $50 million will be going towards projects in Benton and Washington counties. The counties were already set to receive additional funding outside of this $50 million. And you can read more about those projects on KNWA.com. I want to tell you about a traffic alert that may affect River Valley drivers this morning. Starting today, there will be a lane closure on Highway 64 near Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. Closures are so crews can perform a routine inspection. The eastbound lane will be closed today and tomorrow, and the westbound lane will be closed Wednesday and Thursday. 10 swimming areas around Beaver Lake are being shut down due to high levels of E. coli, including Horseshoe Bend and Prairie Creek. Swim beaches at Lost Bridge North and Dam Site day use areas are still open, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says it will retest the water on the 20th and the 21st. Those beaches will remain open, or rather will reopen when bacteria levels are back within those level ranges.
Well, Springdale Parks and Recreation has opened a new maintenance facility. Go ahead on KNWA today.
Well, the resources will help improve the experience on the Razorback Greenway.
That's right. But first, we want to check back in with Josh because we know a lot of new developments in the weather world right now. How's that wind looking?
Yeah, very strong winds being reported in Pea Ridge. Right now, we're on our weather live stream on Facebook and Twitter, and we've been keeping an eye on those reports from viewers. A lot of folks reporting some very strong winds that are going on at Pea Ridge. We were seeing that over our Pea Ridge Junior High School Weatherbug Network camera. You're going to run into these impacts as you're heading off to work at school this morning, especially in Benton County. We're taking a look at Interstate 49 near Tiger Boulevard right now, northbound, southbound lanes. Very soggy, very wet, with some occasional gusty winds. So make sure you're taking it nice and easy this morning. Give yourself plenty of extra time to get to where you're going so you can make it on time and safely. Very heavy winds going on near our Rogers Pinnacle Parkway Tires Camp as well. That camera's shaking just a little bit in the wind. Northbound, southbound lanes. Quite soggy and hazardous at this time. So keep it right here with your Weather Authority team for the latest information. We're going to have another look at Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler coming up in just a few moments.
From your home for the Paris Olympics. Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA Today with Perry Elliott Arani, Jacqueline House, and your Weather Authority forecast with Josh Rugger.
All right, folks. So I'm back on here. We're going to have to just kind of go back and forth because remember, we're in a live newscast, so I can't really talk over Perry and Jackie, but we're going to take a look at Mega Doppler real quick here while we've got the chance and just kind of look at what we're seeing here. So Not seeing any areas of rotation, so that's good. I know a lot of folks are asking, is there a tornado that's hitting my house right now? Right now, no areas of rotation, nothing that's pressing on radar, but definitely some very strong winds that are going on in northern Benton County.
What kinds of damage reports we're seeing, Josh?
So I got some reports of somebody was saying there was siding that was going up against their house from a neighbor. Mostly just leaves and tree limbs right now.
Okay.
But I'm sure Gentry is going to have quite a bit of damage because I think the power outage situation that's going on there is not caused by lightning. I think it was caused by winds because there's a big, broad area of people that are saying that they have their power out at their house.
Okay.
Yes. So, again, let's take a look at some of those WeatherBug network cameras right now because that's really the best thing to show right now. Show, don't tell. Let's go back here to Weather 1. Let's take a look at that Bella Vista camera. So things starting to die down in Bella Vista. So that's good. The wind's actually pretty much completely calm. But a lot of folks saying they're getting slammed in Pea Ridge. I want to go back to that Pea Ridge camera because we did have some interesting scenes there. You could definitely see that shelf cloud feature that was moving through Pea Ridge. When we were showing that on air, you could definitely see those clouds that were moving through. That storm looked pretty nasty as it was pushing through the Pea Ridge area. So definitely some very heavy rainfall going on right now. Man, looks like this storm, thankfully, is becoming a completely outflow dominant. There's a big outflow boundary that's developing right now up and down the I-49 corridor, a little bit farther east towards U.S. Highway 62. But, yeah, it's certainly a good trend right there. I'll take that all day long. Hopefully that continues. But there's that Pea Ridge camera again. Some lightning still going on there near Pea Ridge. And that's going to be our best camera right now because we're starting to get the storm's starting to get a little bit farther away from some of our WeatherBug network cameras. But let's go to that Garfield camera. We got the Garfield Whitney Mountain Lodge WeatherBug network camera. We're starting to get back to the show here. But let's go to the Whitney Mountain Lodge camera. I'm going to push this off to the west. We're about to be back on the show, so just bear with me. I'm going to go silent for a minute. We're going to keep it on this camera and keep it on that radar tour.
4, 5, 6, 7. To improve your experience on the Razorback Greenway, the city of Springdale has repurposed an old fire station into a resource for the city.
Yeah, pretty cool. The building will now serve as one of the city's 2 trail maintenance facilities. Eric Carr is the city's Parks and Recreation superintendent, and he says the building is open and operational with 2 full-time employees that work out of it each day. These employees are responsible for maintaining trails south of Turnbow Park. Now, this new facility replaces the old one at Luther George Park.
And trail usage has been up in our area with more people using the trails in Rogers. The city has 7 eco cameras on the trails to count the number of people who use them. Peter Masanas is the spokesperson for the city and says that there's a 20% increase in trail usage in 2023 compared to 2022. The digital camera found on the Razorback Greenway can distinguish whether a person is walking or riding a bike.
That is Scud right there. So it's a scary looking cloud, but not a tornado.
Masanas says that the device also tells the city what
Oh, man.
certain trails
It's definitely a
more frequently. The city is
threatening looking cloud feature.
the trails, and he says that the cameras can help with that process.
Looking ahead now to this fall, when the Grand Fondo in Cappy will be coming to Bentonville. The multi-day event will feature bike races and rides and a family festival with different types of food from around the area. Our team caught up with organizer George Hincapie and said Bentonville felt like a natural spot for the race. The event will run September 6th through the 8th.
Let's take a live look now out to I-49 in Bentonville. In case you missed it, Josh is monitoring some storms that we're seeing in Benton County. We are hearing of some damage in the Pea Bridge area. I will be back with a full look at our forecast after the break.
So, man, that is a scary looking cloud right now. over that Whitney Mountain Lodge WeatherBug Network camera. So somebody's asking, what is SCUD? So SCUD is what we call scattered cumulus under deck. It's not an area of rotation, but it's just water vapor that's getting sucked up into the storm. So typically it's a sign it's a pretty strong thunderstorm, but not rotating. And SCUD is typically confused with a wall cloud or areas of rotation. It can be associated with a wall cloud, but it's not rotation. So they're about to roll and they're cutting. So I'm going to be quiet for just a few moments. We're going to keep an eye on that camera, though. I'm also going to have to build my show, so just bear with me here.
Nearly $80 million in funding assistance for water and waterways projects around the state have been approved by the Arkansas National Resources Commission.
And of the $79 million approved, $50 million will be going to projects in Benton and Washington counties. The counties were already set to receive an additional funding outside of this $50 million. You can read more about those projects on knwa.com.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is calling for a special election out of Benton County to select its next Justice of the Peace for District 4. Both candidates that were certified in March 5th. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Nearly $80 million in funding assistance for water and waterways projects around the state have been approved by the Arkansas National Resources Commission.
Yeah, and of the $79 million approved, $50 million of it will be going to projects.
Lindsay, you're okay. You can go back to bed.
The counties were already set to receive additional funding outside of this $50 million. You can read more about those projects on knwa.com.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is calling for a special election out of Benton County to select its next Justice of the Peace for District 4. Both candidates that were certified in the March 5th primary election have withdrawn leaving vacancies for both Republican and Democratic nominations. Republican candidates can file between May 20th and the 24th, and Democratic candidates can file between June 3rd and the 10th. Voters will be able to make that final decision in the November general election. And that is your news headline.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sorry.
So some folks asking about specific locations. If you live in Salem Springs, grab it. Gentry, you good. We're going back on air right now.
5.
Your Weather Authority forecast with Josh Ruggard, certified most accurate by WeatherRate.
Definitely some intense thunderstorms that are pushing through northwest Arkansas and the River Valley right now. I'm going to kind of go back and forth on and off the wall because I'm the only one here right now. So we're just going to kind of take you through what's going on across our weather coverage area. But we've been on Facebook Live for the last hour or so, watching this thunderstorm very closely that's going on near Benton County, now starting to push towards northwestern Carroll County, as well as southwestern Berry and McDonald County. Some small hail may be going on just off to the east of Jane right now, but definitely the most intense part of the thunderstorm showing up just off to the east of the Pea Ridge area near Garfield and southwest of Gateway. So watching this thunderstorm very closely. We're going to put a storm track on this for you to let you know where it's going. Again, that thunderstorm is moving from Monette down towards Cassville to Bentonville. If you live in western portions of Benton County, just plain old rain right now. Still something you need to keep an eye on as you head off to work and school. But if you're thinking about going back to bed, I think you're going to be A-okay if you live near western Benton County. But Eureka Springs, a little bit farther east, you need to keep a close eye on the storm. Here's our look at our fresh storm track that's going on with that storm in Berry and Benton County. Again, this thunderstorm is going to be arriving near the Purdy area within the next 4 minutes or so. You're probably already seeing some strong winds near Purdy at this time. Of course, Cassville could also see this thunderstorm right around 5:25 a.m. Pleasant Ridge at 5:34. Eureka Springs, just talked about that location at 5:40 a.m. So within the next 20 to 30 minutes, 5:52 a.m. in Crane, 5:58 in Hurley, 6:05 in Kimberlin City, and 6:11 a.m. in Indian Point. So again, watch the storm very closely. It's starting to move off to the north and east very quickly at about 40 miles per hour. But I'll tell you what, we've been seeing some pretty threatening cloud features over our Whitney Mountain Lodge WeatherBug Network camera. I'm going to step out of the way here and take a look at that real quick. You probably notice on this camera that there's a bit of a lowering that's showing up there. That's what we call SCUD. That's what we call scattered cumulus under deck. It does definitely look very threatening. You can see that raggedy base right there. But this right here is not rotating at this time. So that's a good sign. SCUD doesn't mean rotation. That doesn't mean this storm is going to produce a tornado, but definitely is a sign that this storm is very intense, and it could produce some very gusty winds as it continues to progress off to the east. So we'll be watching that very closely. Here's a look at some of our WeatherBug Network cameras early this morning as well. Unfortunately, Our Harrison Gaither mountain camera is down right now, so we're not going to be able to take a look at that. But look at that lightning show that's showing up there among all of those WeatherBug Network cameras at this time. So definitely something we're going to be keeping a close eye on as we continue to go throughout the rest of the show this morning. We're going to take another look at High Heat and Cooling Mega Doppler and take a look at some of those areas that I'm talking about right here and why there's going to be some strong winds as we move throughout the rest of the morning. Again, this is a look at what we call storm relative velocity. So this is looking for areas of rotation within the thunderstorm. No areas of rotation, thankfully. There was some indication that maybe that happened a little bit earlier, just off to the north and west of Bentonville, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. But right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings as well. Just very strong winds as that storm pushes off to the north and east. But definitely looks like the storm is starting to weaken just a little bit. We're going to kind of take this into motion. Notice how that storm was a little bit more intense as it moved through western Benton County. You can also see that outflow boundary that was developing. So probably some strong winds that moved through the Fayetteville area as well. But definitely starting to see that lightning die down just a little bit. And that's a good sign that the storm is starting to weaken just a hair as it continues to progress off to the north and east. Now let's take a look at that Garfield WeatherBug Network camera one more time. Let's see if we can see any more flashes of lightning. But again, check that out right there. That's that base that we were just talking about with that storm. That might be a bit of a shelf cloud feature there, a little bit of scud as well. We just talked about what that means. And again, that storm is moving off to the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So it'll be in and out of your area relatively quickly. Again, if you live near Bentonville, Rogers, Bella Vista, a little bit farther west towards Salem Springs, you're all clear right now. If you live near Eureka Springs or in portions of southwest Missouri, you still need to keep an eye on radar as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. Now, what about the rest of this week? Well, we do have the potential for more showers and thunderstorms, especially as we move throughout Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. In fact, this could bring some severe weather potential to our area. We're under a pretty big time severe weather risk for both of those days. Could also have some severe weather potential on Thursday. So we are not done yet. This is kind of the appetizer of things to come as we move throughout the rest of this week. It's going to be a very active weather pattern. High temperatures, of course, very toasty in the upper 80s. Will drop off a little bit into the upper 70s, so right around 80 degrees as we move throughout the latter half of this week. But, man, daily rain chances in the forecast and potentially daily chances for severe weather across our area. River Valley, very similar story. High temperature topping out in the lower 90s as we move throughout the afternoon. We'll stay in the lower to middle 80s with that 70 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms as we move throughout your Tuesday into Wednesday. But again, some threatening looking clouds right now over our area, guys. Thankfully, nothing on radar that indicates that these storms are rotating or producing tornadoes at this time. Good. But still got some reports of widespread power outages in Gentry. Gotten some reports of maybe some scattered damage as well near the Gentry area along Highway 59. So we watch that very closely as we move throughout the rest of the morning. But right now, it does look like those storms are on a bit of a weakening trend as they move through southwest Missouri and northwestern Carroll County.
Josh, as people are waking up this morning, what's one of the main things that they should be looking at before they get their day started?
Well, they should be taking it nice and easy on the roadways. Because now, even though the severe weather potential has gone down for most locations along Interstate 49, we still got quite a bit of rain to get through potentially. And the roadways are already very wet right now. We know that that rain can mix with the oil. We haven't had rain in quite a few days, so that can mix with the oil and cause some very slick spots. So as you're heading off to work at school this morning, make sure you're giving yourself plenty of extra time, right? Go about 10 to 15 miles per hour under the speed limit, and you should be good. Again, the strong to severe storm potential has gone down for western Benton County, but the heavy rain threat has not. So we'll watch that very closely.
And yeah, well, exactly as you said, we'll continue monitoring that. And if you can actually help us with that, if you see anything as you're waking up this morning, as the light starts to come up or even before, send that into news@knwa.com. This really is a community-wide effort with y'all. Because when it is this dark, we have to know, okay, what are we actually seeing on the ground in order to respond to it? Josh, I know we're going to have a lot more time with you coming up soon. So let's very briefly show our question of the day and get your feedback on this. Add some levity as we cover some of these storms moving through this morning. Question is, if you could instantly master any skill, which one would it be? Right now, a majority of you saying a foreign language as your number one. But go ahead and scan that QR code or go to nwahomepage.com/poll. And we will be right back here on KNWA as we are just under 70 days away from the Paris Olympics. Taking a look at our Paris tower cameras this morning. We'll have Pig Trail Nation's Alyssa Orange heading over there. But in the meantime, your Pig Trail Nation report is coming up next.
All right, everybody. So our Pig Trail Nation report's coming up here, so I'll have a little bit more time to kind of talk and answer some questions. I know we got to do weather cutting, but yeah, I can't do that right now. So we'll do that in just a few moments. But want to make sure that everybody's okay here. So let's see here. Ava, you live in Bentonville. You're good. You can go to bed now. So if you live in Pea Ridge, if you live at Bentonville, Gentry, Salem Springs, those areas, you can go back to bed. They're doing the news cut in right now, so I got to be quiet.
Water projects around the state have been approved by the Arkansas National Resources Commission.
And of the $79 million approved, $50 million will be going to projects in Benton and Washington counties. These counties were already set to receive additional funding outside of this $50 million, and you can read about those projects on knwa.com.
Governor Sarah Sanders is calling for a special election out of Benton County to select its next justice of the peace for District 4. Both candidates that were certified in the March 5th primary elections have withdrawn, leaving vacancies for both Republican and Democratic nominations. Republican candidates can file between May 20th and the 24th. The Democratic candidates can file between June 3rd and June 10th, and voters will decide in the general November election.
Now, do it for your KNWA News update. Have a fantastic Monday.
Okay, I got a question in from Destiny asking about Rogers. So Rogers is okay to go to bed. So if you live along the I-49 corridor, Bella Vista, Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, those locations, you're good. Pea Ridge, you're good. Y'all can go back to bed, or you can start getting ready for your day, albeit with the caveat that you need to take it nice and easy as you head to work at school this morning, because we still got quite a bit of rain to get through as we move throughout the rest of the morning hours. In fact, another thunderstorm that's showing up near the Muskogee area right now, and that could be pushing into portions of northwest Arkansas and even the River Valley as well. The River Valley not seeing any rainfall. Honestly, I think that will continue as we move throughout the rest of the morning as well. So that's certainly a good sign there. But right now, I'm just kind of going back and forth. Didn't have a whole lot of time to make my show this morning, but just trying to keep everybody informed. Looks like our light went out there. So if I'm a little bit dark, sorry about that. But I think we're going to wrap this up within the next 5 minutes. The storm has definitely weakened quite a bit. Again, it was pretty intense as it moved through western Benton County. Didn't have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but we're going to kind of go back in time here. Man, look at the evolution of that storm. It didn't look too impressive on radar there, but again, saw a lot of reports of damage in Gentry. We're going to have to keep a close eye on that. If anything else, that might have been a big-time downburst that moved through there. Definitely some very intense winds in Bentonville as well and Gravett. So we're going to, if you have any pictures of damage, send those into our Weather Authority app or weather@knwa.com because I do definitely want to see those reports of damage. But Sandra, I know it's gonna be loud. That's not uncommon on the backside of these systems. It's what we call stratiform rain. So this is all on the backside of the system. This is going to cause lightning. It's going to cause thunder. It's going to cause areas of heavy rain, but it's not severe. So you can rest assured that everything is okay now. In Decatur, you can go to bed in Decatur now, and you can go to bed and grab it too. Now, getting a lot of reports of power outages across our area, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. I'm gonna go to that in just a few moments here. But just give me 1 second here. I'm just making one thing on my show. Oh man, a lot of reports. Shannon. Okay. So I'm gonna have to get. We're going to have to talk about these power outages because we're getting a lot of reports of them right now up and down I-49, not just in Gentry now. We got reports of no electricity in Rogers, Bentonville, all these locations. So we want to make sure that we're good. Salem Springs, you're good. If you live in Benton County, I think everybody is good right now to go to bed. These storms have died down completely. So anywhere in our weather coverage here, you can go to bed. We're about to wrap this weather live stream up. I do want to show the latest power outage situation, though. According to poweroutage.us. We're going to update this here. Wow. Okay. Big jump in power outages. That's a little bit more what I thought we were going to see. So Carroll Electric Cooperative reporting 1,501 without power right now. So definitely a big bump up in power outages now in Benton County. And most of that from Carroll Electric Cooperative. So yeah, that's definitely been a big jump, and I think that's going to keep going up as we move throughout the rest of the morning hours. But again, we're all clear, I think, for northwest Arkansas. Just some heavy rainfall expected. Of course, if you want continuing coverage, you can join us on KNWA Today, the show that we're on right now. You can join us on Channel 51. You can also join us on our live stream that we've got on our website. But I think I'm going to wrap this up. Again, all clear in Benton County. Still some thunderstorms moving through Carroll County and southwestern Missouri, and we'll continue to keep tabs on that as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. Thank you guys so much for joining this weather live stream this morning. Again, keep it right here with your Weather Authority team for the latest. God bless and have a marvelous rest of your Monday.